Alrighty, we got a good one for you today. We're here with Hannah. How are you, Hannah?
I'm okay.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Do we have permission to record you and post this interview online?
Yes.
Great. First, I'd like you to tell us your current situation. Are you homeless, or where do you, how do you survive out here right now? And what's been going on?
Well, currently, I'm technically couch surfing. I'm like hopping between house to house. I had a friend go out of town recently, so it's been a little bit harder, but I have, been real homeless before, where it's no one's house, just on the streets. It's a lot easier if you have a car, like even a friend's car to sleep in, or a couch. Like, to me, that's not homeless. Like, real homeless is being out on the streets.
So you have a place to stay. You're safe at night.
Yeah.
Okay, you could do. Oh, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, where were you born?
When?
Where were you born?
Where? Oh, I was born in Fairfax, Virginia.
Virginia. And then, did you grow up over there too?
I moved here around 2006.
Okay.
So only like until like 4th grade I lived in Virginia, but I moved out here in like 5th grade, so I consider Las Vegas my home.
What kind of student were you in high school?
In high school, I went to Las Vegas Academy, which is the magnet school. It's on Fremont, and I studied art, and I really cared about art, and it was a passion. But as far as the other subjects go, it kind of was hard, and I just barely skimmed by.
Yeah. You graduated though?
Yeah.
And what kind of GPA?
Just a normal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to college, or wanted to go to college, or not?
I did go to college for a bit.
Oh, really?
I went to CSN,
Okay.
the community college.
Yeah.
I did have a goal. I was trying to, I wanted to do like either physical therapy, because I have like chronic back problems.
Yeah.
I've got like a joint deterioration, and like I've got like spine problems. Like I've got a bone rubbing against my neck. I realized physical therapy wasn't gonna work out, but I thought about like either doing like business, because I was into like yoga and like massage therapy. But I did want to, like I did and was going to college, but I ran into a friend that wasn't a good friend, is how I found out, and then I just got into shittier and bad, more worse people, and that's where like everything kind of tanked.
Do you still talk to your loved ones? Family, parents?
My dad died April 18th.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
How'd you take that?
I'm still dealing with it. It did suck. I didn't get to see him one last time, like alive, so that was hard. My sister was kind of rough on the situation, and I had to take, I guess, the most of her grieving. But I still see my mom, and I still talk to my family. For a while, I did distance myself back when, everything kind of tanked in my life, but I've started getting better on track, and I'd still talk to, like, my family and my sister, my mom.
Growing up, was there any abuse?
None in my family,
Yeah.
but in 2nd grade, I was like molested. It was a really weird case. It was like the teacher kind of knew, sort of, like they just didn't acknowledge it. Like multiple students were involved, and it went on for a while. The thing that kind of really upset my parents once they found out, like other parents knew, but they just told their kids like to not talk to me or not be friends with me, and it went on longer than it shouldn't have. It was like I think it was like 9 months of that happening, but eventually someone spilled the beans, thank God, and that got fixed.
You still have a lot of nightmares about?
No, I've moved on past it.
You get therapy?
I did when I was in high school. I did for that and other things.
Okay. Do you have any emotional or mental disabilities? Are you diagnosed with anything?
In high school, I got diagnosed with mood disorder. I was on medication for a while, but I eventually was like, I want to stop and just live my life without medication. And I mean, I've been through a lot in my life, and we'll get more into that. But it's taken a while for me to heal from certain events, but I like who I am now, and I have a really good understanding of like emotions and like how to handle them now.
Where would you like to see yourself in 2 years?
Well, in 2 years, I would hope that I get a job that's normal and stable, and either be renting a room or, get a place of my own, and just kind of live life more normally.
What would be your ideal job if you could pick any job?
Well, it's hard because before stuff happened in my life, I was working 2 jobs. I was working for Rhino Staging, which is a stagehand job.
Okay.
And I was a carpenter and rigger and did lighting. And I also worked for Amazon, and I was working both of those jobs, both labor intensive, because I like to work hard. I like to occupy my time with, physical.
Yeah.
But my ideal job is just anything that passes the time quickly and I get paid for the skills I have.
Do you currently use any drugs? Or have you used drugs in the past?
So I'm currently on methadone,
Okay.
which is the help for opioids.
Yeah.
I got into like a bad crowd, I guess. The guy I was seeing, which I won't even consider him a boyfriend. It was just a really toxic, abusive relationship.
Yeah.
So we stayed at this place, and I was not allowed to leave the room I was in. And he was very paranoid. He was mentally abusive. He was physically abusive, and he was a strong heroin addict. And when I met him, I wasn't. But being around him, from the mental abuse, and he restricted my food, so I had I wasn't eating enough. I wasn't drinking enough water.
Yeah.
So my understanding of is this a safe situation or not got really skewed, and then he introduced heroin into my life, and he essentially just started feeding me the drug as much as possible, and that was a way for him to kind of control me. And so after when he got arrested and I finally parted ways with him, I still had to deal with the mental abuse, handling that situation, coming to terms that he was never a good person and that the situation was all bad, and dealing with that. And then I had the actual addiction to deal with, and that was the first time I've ever had an addiction to, because my whole life I had back problems. I never wanted painkillers because I wanted someone to fix my back. I didn't want to numb it. And so that was the first time I had such a strong downer and painkiller. And so it took me a while to finally, get off the drug and, get the shame and guilt out of me, and see a methadone clinic and get some help.
Did he introduce you to heroin?
Yeah.
So he's the one?
Yeah.
And then does he contact you, or?
I got a phone call recently that he was in jail, but the second I heard his name, I just blocked the call.
Stay away from that guy. Now, have you ever been to jail?
I've not.
Never?
I've never even been detained.
Never been detained?
Yeah.
Severe withdrawals. Can you describe that?
Yeah, it's almost like kind of having the flu. There's muscle ache, body aches. You have a runny nose. You can't sleep. You yawn a lot. You're hot and cold sweats. You can't get comfortable.
So it's just a miserable feeling.
Yeah, your stomach is in pain. I don't eat when I'm sick like that because I vomit every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And not eating's not good for you, but I don't want to be dealing with the vomiting.
Do you stay healthy? Do you drink plenty of water every day?
Oh, I love water.
And then are you healthy? Do you eat food?
I love
Healthy
fruit.
food?
Fruit's my favorite fruit.
Okay. So you still?
I have a lot of friends who still are heavy addicts.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they just drink a soda, drink a water.
Yeah.
Half the problems you'll have is a headache or stomach pain or hunger, and it's usually you need a drink of water.
Summer, how do you survive out here?
So, if possible, if you can get a car, because there's a park that allows, if you're homeless and you have a car, you're allowed to park in that park and sleep there.
Where is this at?
That's on, I think Rainbow and Decatur.
Okay, and then any other resources in Vegas that you're aware of? that can help?
I mean, they do have like homeless shelters.
Okay.
But the problem with homeless shelters is that a lot of people that have been on the streets for a while, and that are the people that want to stay on the streets, that don't want to get better, the people that have like kind of let themselves, deteriorate, they'll flood the homeless shelters, and it'll become like almost a scary or unsafe environment.
Have you ever been a sex worker?
I've never worked in person, but I've done work online.
What does that entail, working online? What, you get on a website and you post your pictures up?
Working online, you can, what's really popular right now is it's called OnlyFans. But basically you go onto like a cam service, and you're selling a character, you're selling a fantasy. The reason that someone is seeking out a cam girl in online work and not going to porn is because they're fetish or kink, or they want to have something more interpersonal, and that's why they're seeking like a specific cam girl or like an online work.
Okay, so you don't actually meet men?
No.
And just do your cam girl?
Yeah, just online work. Yeah.
Okay, does that provide you with enough money?
I mean, it's like any like W-2 work.
Yeah.
Like if you're an Uber driver or a contractor, it's work will come in waves.
Okay.
Because especially with camming, you're dependent on that other person having funds, and if so, like everyone gets laid off in the country during COVID.
Yeah.
Then where's your money going to come from?
Has this inflation really affected you a lot? I know things were cheap. I'm visiting now, and things are almost double now.
Well,
items that I usually buy.
Yeah, I mean, gas is disgusting.
Yeah. It's not the same Vegas.
But I mostly, I've wanted to get away from it because I started that job when I was with that guy. He was the one that got me into it because I wasn't allowed to leave, so he told me that I had to make money for him in that situation, and I had to do it at home, so the only job I could think of was that.
Was he just sitting around and just injecting himself?
Yeah.
All day?
Yeah.
Yeah, you deserve better than that.
So I've wanted to get away from that because, at first it was never my money and it was never my job. And then I tried to tell myself when I was still using heroin that, I know how to do the job and it's my money now, but even then that wasn't my character, that wasn't who I was, and I didn't like me doing that, and I want to get away from that and, do jobs that I enjoy. I liked physical labor, I liked going to school.
Yeah. Have you had to sleep on the streets
before?
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
So I was down by Fremont at the bus depot, which is where all the buses collect.
Yeah.
And a guy with a machete walks up to me and asks for anything that I have that's valuable, and all I had was a bus pass because during winter, I'd rather, have a bus pass, a 24-hour one, so I could just ride the bus all night, and sleep on the bus, and then, get off and go to the next one, because it's so cold, you'd rather just be on the bus where it's warm. And the worst thing that happened was it was a cold night, a guy with, a machete, scary, took my bus pass, and then I had no bus pass, I had to sit in the cold.
All right, at least you didn't get hurt.
There's a high chance of that, and the best way to avoid it is if you go to parks, and say the kid parks area where the playground's closer to the ground, you go to that one because you're hidden more. You want to go to places where you're not visible and not able to be spotted out because people will mess with you.
What's the best thing about your life right now?
I think the best thing about my life right now is that I try to stay very self-aware and acknowledge any faults and flaws. If I know I'm lacking in communicating with my family, I'll acknowledge it and make myself do it. If I know
You're responsible.
Yeah, if I know I'm slipping up and I think about, I really want to do this terrible thing that's not good for me, I'll knock myself back into reality. And because there was a long time where I would just be like, screw it, I don't care. But now that I'm paying attention, and give about care about myself and care about the effect I have on other people, I'm putting an effort to enjoy my life and actually like live it, you know.
Are you currently involved with anyone right now?
It's complicated.
Okay.
Because after all the trauma I went through with that one guy,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of rape events happen in my life.
Can you describe rape events?
I've had, I guess, 2 relationships. The one where the guy I was dating, his best friend, was like threatening me with, like, he said he was gonna kill himself or kill me or kill, you know, my boyfriend unless I had sex with him. And for a while I was scared to, you know, open up to my boyfriend about it.
Yeah.
Out of fear of something worse happening. But eventually I learned that a lot of people will threat and it'll mean nothing. So when I finally opened up about it, you know, eventually that relationship died because of just how much was going on.
Yeah.
And it was hard on, you know, the boyfriend to find out his best friend was a scumbag. I didn't realize until later on that I had a hard time of picking good people to be with.
Yeah.
And in that really abusive relationship I was in, his idea was there's no such thing as no if a girl has enough heroin in her body.
Wow. Currently, right now, you're not on any drugs. You're on methadone?
Yeah.
So how are you dealing with that physically? Are you having withdrawals or anything? Or?
They did dose me a little low,
Okay.
but it's fine. One thing that's hard is that I'm so used to taking a substance multiple times a day.
Yeah.
But you know, you drink it and it's one shot in the morning and then you go about your day. But what it's forced me to done is to occupy my time, and then instead of thinking about the next high, I'm actually, you know, viewing nature or like doing things that are more productive.
What would you say to a young person wanting to dabble into drugs or try it? Some very highly addictive drug like heroin or meth. What would you say to them to talk them out of it?
So I've had friends who have done meth, and the most depressing, and so when your friend becomes so burnt out on meth, it would have been better if they died, because they're a shell of who they once were. They are so paranoid and lost in the psychosis, and even if they get clean because of what meth has done to them, they are still just as burnt out. And I've had friends that become so gone of like, they have no concept of anything normal, like they are just paranoid and crazy and lost in psychosis, and it's awful to be around, to watch someone just deteriorate.
There's no way to rebound once you get that deep into it, right?
No.
That's what you're saying? So your recommendation is never try it.
Yeah, like and also like meth is called, like on the street, it's called shit because it's a shitty drug.
It's called shit?
Yeah. So like that should give you a sign not to do it. As far as heroin goes, and even when I was doing it, I told everyone don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not only like you have to deal with the physical withdrawal and the physical dependence, you also have to deal with all the psychological too.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the reasons that people are using drugs is because they don't want to deal with the emotions or the feelings, or like there's stuff that they want to ignore.
Yeah.
And that's when you're just existing, you're not living life, you know?
You're very smart. What about addiction counselor? You think you might want to do that one day?
I've been told by friends before
Yeah, you should do it.
to like either be like a therapist or psychologist or
Yeah.
like even addiction counselor. And I've thought about it. I want to make sure that I'm like, the reason that the reason I haven't dated anyone for a while is because I don't want my partner to be a therapist. I don't want to dump all of my issues, because a relationship should be equal.
Yeah.
And I should be able to handle some of their garbage as they can take mine. And so I want to make sure that I'm in a very healthy mindset before I dare to dabble into anything else like that.
I think the world would benefit if you got involved in that.
Well, another thing is that I like to write. I want to make music.
That's what I want to get into next. That's a very big interest of mine. Okay, now, what's your favorite type of music?
I listen to a lot of rap and punk.
Punk? Give me a couple of punk bands you like.
Man, this happens.
Or rappers. To give me your top 3 rappers or
Kalichi,
artists.
Suicide Boys,
Okay.
Little Peep.
I never heard of it. Didn't Little Pete pass away?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard about him. Okay, now.
Gaw Patrol is a
Okay.
local punk band
Okay,
here
what
in
is it?
Vegas. Gaw Patrol.
Gaw Patrol, okay. And do you write your own music?
I write my own lyrics.
Okay. Can you share anything today with us, or another time?
I'll share,
Go ahead.
but I'm not gonna full on rap it.
Okay.
All right. Mortify the mental, he ain't sentimental. Disrespect my temple, of force justified, hellfire.
It's a little bit of it.
Yeah, like that's a
Nice.
chorus.
Oh wow. Who makes your who produces your beats? Yourself?
Yeah.
What program?
FL Studios,
Oh wow. You can do everything on a computer now, can't you?
basically.
You make your own beats, you write your own lyrics, so hopefully, what's your rap name or your
I'm still
stage name?
I'm still debating. I
Okay.
haven't quite figured it out. I made a joke one day with a friend.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, it should be Semi-Cry,"
Yeah.
but I don't know about that. But maybe if I actually put music out, you know, fans will pick my name for me.
Okay. So you're actively doing that, trying to get clean. You're sober. Do you drink?
No.
Smoke weed?
So when you do hard drugs, weed becomes no longer good. It
Do
just
you-
makes me like anxious and paranoid.
Do you believe that weed is a gateway drug?
No.
No, not at all?
Not at all.
Okay, you didn't start with weed and move on to
No.
more potent drugs?
If anything, like specifically cigarettes, not vaping, but specifically cigarettes, because people that smoke cigarettes is usually like statistically, it's like they target low income areas or like certain communities, and for some reason I've ran into a lot of people if they smoke cigarettes, there's also a lot of chunk of them that also do hard drugs. And it's just specifically cigarettes. I don't run into a lot of hard drug users that vape. It's like I'm the weird outliner.
Yeah. Well, can you describe your exit plan, getting out of this life and getting back on your feet? What would you like to see happen?
Well, get a job.
Okay. Step 1, get a job. Are you clean? If you get tested, everything's good?
Well, so methadone, with having methadone in my system, jobs will allow me to work.
Okay.
Because and also I can go to the methadone clinic and they can help inform other jobs and be like, hey, she's doing this instead of this.
Okay.
And they'll allow me to work with that.
And then, do you go to NA? Do you like meetings?
I don't really care for like group meetings or like I know it's good to talk to
Have
someone.
a support system.
And so I make myself do see a therapist every once a month.
Okay.
But my therapy for me is writing.
Okay. Do you believe in a higher power?
I'm spiritual, I guess. I guess I believe in a higher power sort,
Okay.
but it may not be like everyone's traditional, idea.
Well, Hannah, that's going to be everything for today. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you being so honest, and you speak so eloquently, and you're a very bright young lady. I wish the best for you. Is it okay if I come back and do an update on you sometime?
Yeah.
In the future? Real quick, do you have like a Facebook or an email address that maybe some of our subscribers can contact you to provide support or advice? Thank you so much for your time, Hannah. Amazing young lady, very smart. I wish the best for you, and I'm gonna come back and do an update soon, okay?
Okay.
If you need any help, you can contact me at my phone number.
All right.
I can try to give you some support.